All right, here we go with a second portrait, and starting with structure. So just off the bat, things to look for are like things like head shape, and his head looks long, right? Like a thinner face as opposed to a rounder face. And I know a lot of it's like the exaggerated hair up here. Well, it's exaggerated by the hair up here, I guess. Not the hair is exaggerated, but the longness is exaggerated. But part of making your drawing, and my drawing, look like this guy is to pick up on those things and, make sure you got that kind of thing going for your drawing as well. All right, so here's the neck cylinder twisting, right? He's turning his head. And okay, back to the face here, back to what we're here for. So I'm looking at his eyes. I think the camera is slightly down. So knowing that we've got this long thing, and to make the face look longer, right, we're gonna put the eyes a little higher. But if I measure it out and I look, I'm just kind of measuring at the picture here. His eyes are definitely kind of like in the middle, somewhere in the middle-ish, on the top of his head to the chin. All right, so got my line of symmetry here. Got my eye line, and I'm going around the flat of the face, the plane of the face, right? And then down the side. So I'm trying to think of this, right, as like that shape, right? So the head, and it's kind of like, I liken it to sculpting. It's like starting with like the sphere, but then I'm kind of sculpting it into, with the cutting off part to make the plane of the face, and then, bringing in the sides a little bit. So anyways, something like that. Okay, once I got that round piece down there, I don't need, once I got the jaw, I don't need the bottom of the circle. All right, so now I'm mark the nose. So looking for halfway, but higher, because the eyes are raised up a little higher. It's gonna bring the nose a little higher. So knowing my halfway is here, I'm gonna put it a little bit up. And then his mouth down here. Trying to look the space between his nose and his mouth. Okay, just kind of roughing that in there. Another thing to keep in mind is looking at like other parts of the picture and gauging like where things go, right? So I'm comparing the space here with the photo, and I'm kind of looking and trying to match it, right? Like I'm trying to match the space under the nose with the lips, okay? And like the eyes here, I'm looking at the corner of the nose, kind of whereabouts the eye should start. All those things help. Okay, so I'm trying to get the shape of his face here. I'm sorry, shape of his eye. A little dip there. Okay. This one closer to the nose, right? Because it's a 3/4. I think this one might be too close as I'm looking at it. There's a little space here between the eye and the outside of the face. It's another thing to note, right, is how much space there. Sometimes the eye, 3/4 view, you can see the eyeball, right? And sometimes you can see, on the edge, sometimes you can see a little bit of the face there, like here. All right, I'm looking at this cheekbone, and I'm looking at where it curves. So like somewhere mid-nose up here is where it curves, starts to curve and go down. And it's going down, and then there's a little bit of a a little bit of a part that gets rounded right there. And then I get the chin coming down like that. All right, I can put a little circle here if that helps. Sometimes it helps me to feel the roundness. Broken pencil. Once again. All right. Looking at how far back the jaw goes, the neck there. Got a really chiseled jaw. This guy's obviously some sort of model. Okay, here's the neck here. All right. So again, looking around, even things out. So I want to get the hair and the ear placed. So again, to get where the ear is, I'm looking across from the nose. And I'm saying, okay, that's about where the ear is. Looking across from the eye. And it looks about mid-eye, something like that. Okay. Okay, so looking at his hairline. And coming down. I think the hair takes a lot of time too on some people with longer hair. And that's what eats up those extra minutes. All right, so let's see. Gotta get the shape of his hair. Okay, now this hair is gonna be quite different because really about flow and everything. I mean, man, it's just, it's really doesn't count too much for really curly hair like this, right? It's kind of making its own shape, and we're gonna have to just try and get those little locks in there. But I don't think it's worth like trying to pre-mark those. You just gotta get the overall shape and go from there. All right, got decent structure. I'm feeling okay about this so far. Let's see if I can get these eyebrows on here. Looking to see how low they are. And how far in they go. Over here, how far out they go. Okay, eyes are looking over to the side. All right, working out the shape of his lips. Got some nice full lips there. So obviously this angle, the right side is going to be shorter, right, because of the 3/4 view. And the left side longer. All right, all right, all right. Lower eyelid. All right, working on the nose here a little bit. Okay, here's the tip of the nose and nostril. I did the nostrils first. Nostril, nasal cavities. I mean, now the outside. All right, some little ear details here. The curl, the knob, the notch, and the Y-shaped bump thing. I'm feeling pretty good with this. Let me give him a little more space for his forehead up here. Okay. Have the space here. Okay, and the hair goes out a little bit. I didn't get that so much. Or maybe I did, but when I moved it over, I messed it up. All right, that's feeling pretty good in terms of structure. All right, I'm ready to knock it back a bit and then add my detail. Okay. Let's get the eyes. Goodness, man. Always breaking my pencil. Okay. Let's see, we got eyelid up here. Okay. Looking at the iris. His eye's a little more narrow. I think a little big with it. Okay, now it's all black from here. His very dark brown eyes. And with the pupil, it just kind of looks all black. So I'm gonna go ahead and just do it black. It's not bad to have nice contrast. So if you notice, the eyeballs aren't all white usually, right? I mean, very rarely. It's just the shines on them that are completely white. Okay, looking at the other eye. Okay. All right, and then the other eye, looking all the way to the right side, leaving that shine in there. Trying to, at least. Okay. Eyelid. Okay. Coming around the eye. All right, let's work down to the nose here. Man, I can look at his eyes now and can see how big I draw them. I always draw eyes a little bit big. Okay, coming around the tip of the nose here. Try not to connect it because it's really just a value change. Nostril. You can just see it get a little darker there on that side. And here. All right, let's trying to fight adding value. I want to start like shaping things. Save that to the end. All right, these eyebrows kind of come around. This little bump here, the brow. Come down his cheek. This is so slight. It's kind of just a little change there. All right, his chin. Up to his jaw over here. get that other eyebrow in here. I gotta, man. Return your paper as you need to. A little wider there. How far does it go out? Not too far past his eye. Let's see if I came out far enough here. Not quite, I don't think. I'm not sure if I went far enough in to start this one, actually. Let's shave off a little there. Okay, I'm gonna fill those in pretty dark. Forgot that little inside part, little fleshy part on the inside. All right, let's see, we're at the lips now. So you can really see the highlight on the top of the lips right there, right on that little edge. That would be great to draw in with a white pencil, or you'd have to have something really strong to show up on this. You'd have to have like a, I don't know, like a white colored pencil wouldn't work. Maybe it would, I don't know. I was thinking something like grease pencil or something, I don't know. It'll show up on anything. But in the computer, you could really nicely get that in there, right there. Drawing in the computer is what I'm talking about. All right. Okay, getting some shading on these lips here. Okay, going to the ear over here. As you can see, all right. Some value in there to help define these bumps and crevices and all that ear stuff. All right. Neck went a little too far out. I'm bringing it in. So the neck, we've got, I haven't really talked about the neck really. I kind of do that more when we get to drawing the whole person. But you've got these muscles here that come from the top, I'm sorry, from the top of your sternum, right? They go out like a V. And you can see when you turn your head here, this round muscle coming down. Darker there. Obviously I'm starting to add some value now. Let's see, under the chin, turn this a little bit. And a little highlight there on this round, you know, like a cylinder. And then we've got the middle part of the neck there. Come out of that as smoothly as I wanted to. at the other part of the V right there, and you can kind of see it there. Kind of just starts blending in. There's not as much tension, I believe, on this side. Let's see what happens here. Okay. There are some wrinkle lines there. All right, so I'm gonna let that fade off. All right, I gotta add some value in his hair. Okay, neglected the hair, doing value already. Bad move. Okay, so you can see that he's got it pretty short here on the side, and you can see the skin, you know, through it. So I'm gonna go ahead and add a little bit of value to that. Since there's been a highlight there. And then I'll draw the hair on top of it, darker. I kind of need a sharp pencil for this because it's... Okay, then you can see it kind of gets dark. The value gets really dark back in the back here. I think it looks like it's coming forward slightly, or flowing forward a little bit, and making this little thin kind of sideburn thing. Okay, just adding some little bits of an edge to the hairline on the top. All right, and mostly back here it's going to be dark. And I'll add a few little highlights up here. Until I get all the way up here. So this will all be black. My darkest value I can go for. Still trying to do little locks. I'm kind of losing it in my scribbles. I don't think I'm being quite precise enough. I don't know how that one got so dark. What's going on there? Okay, so I'm gonna try and leave little rounded, kind of curled highlights here and there. And I'll color it pretty much black between them. Okay, add a few little details in there just to not make him look like, well, to keep it looking like hair. All right, just gonna add some of these locks of hair, these little clumps. Okay, all right, looking good here. Let's go ahead and add value to the face. So we still got our light coming from the right side, got our shadow side on the left. Looking for the plane of the face here. And then coming around, so look at the cheekbone comes like this. Then we get this shadow kind of coming in like that way, right? And we get the jaw coming down like that. So you get this kind of thing, this kind of shape. Shadow, cheekbone to mouth, then around the jaw, then it's going to be darker there. All right, and here we got the roundness of the chin. So thinking about shading round things. Ooh, first, gosh, look at me. Neglected the bottom lip. Okay, nice bright highlight. Nice dark too right there. Okay, and a little shadow under the lip. Okay, coming in. The chin here, pretty dark. Okay, looking for my dark areas like on the other side of the nose, the inside corner of this eye right here. A little shadow along this side of the nose on the left side. Under the nose, the bottom of the nose, I mean. A little darker right there. And as I'm darkening things up, I'm going back and re-darkening parts that I didn't do dark enough. All right, coming to this side of the head and leaving my highlight right there on the forehead. Noticing the eye and little shadow right there underneath. It has to be darker here. Oh yeah, and a little bit right here too. It's darker in that little part of the brow. Okay. Darken up this little eyelid underneath here, underneath the bottom eyelid. The corner of the eye. And that little fleshy part under the eye here. You see a little bit of a value change there, right? The inside of the eye. So we're getting like little cylinder-like shading things here. A little too much there. I'm gonna erase that. Kind of just try and do it with value. Okay. So coming around the side of the face, up to the highlight area, and you can see that it's a little value change right there, underneath the cheekbone, above the mouth. The mouth kind of comes out a little bit. Okay, and darken up the inside of the mouth here. Can't see what's going on here. We've got this getting pretty dark in this corner. And the crease kind of darkens up just a little bit. A little crook of the mouth. All right, we're just about there. Just looking for my dark spots, my highlight spots. Using my eraser, I was gonna say, and I just spotted the nose to the top lip. A little shading there as it dips in. These little ridge created here, right? So I'm getting shadows on the part, you know, on the little ridge facing away from the main light source. Okay, and on this side, because it rounds out, right? So if it catches a highlight over here, it's a little darker on this side here. Catching the shadow a little bit. Okay, let's see here. All right, I think just about done. Just looking to pick any other parts out that I can make darker or lighter, or anything else I neglected. But I think for this sketch, I can pretty much call it a day. I'm gonna darken the eyes a bit. Keep those the focal point, right? The darker I make this, if I make that the darkest part on the image, it will be the focal point of the image, right? Our eyes are just drawn to that dark, you know, dark versus light. Dark against light is what our eyes are drawn to the most. So if I keep these really dark, now you can always manipulate that too. Like if you want to make that the focal point more than it really is, you can manipulate that and create a focal point by making that darker than it is. All right, and that'll just about do it. Hopefully you guys got a good little drawing in, and hopefully I see you guys next time where we do another one, all right?